Hey folks, it is the Naughty Knife Guy. I'm going to try to make this quick. Today, I'm going to redo, or partially redo, or anyway, I'm going to give this thing a second chance. This is the Boker Kalashnikov out the front. For those of you who are not already familiar with the saga, back in December, I believe it was, I bought one of these. Was doing a video on it and evaluating it, and did the pop it into a wood and wiggle it test. I don't know what you call that. I'm going to call it the wiggle test. And the blade snapped, and really soft wood. I think that wood was poplar. So I sent it back, and it took about 3 months. Let's see, December, January, February, March. Yeah, about 3 months. And they sent me a replacement. Now, of course, I was very curious to see if this one would hold up better than the one I sent back. So I filmed another wiggle test with not the same chair, but a chair from the same set as the one I had used, so same kind of wood and things like that, and it held up. So today we're going to take it out and actually war post it. I am not going to refilm the wriggle test. I'm going to splice that video, that footage, in with this footage, even though I've already posted a video of it a couple of days ago, just for the sake of completeness. And I will tell you, if it survives the war post, I will come down and tell you what I think overall. So, going to be pretty quick because even though it's sunny out, it's like really cold and windy. No, not really cold, cold and windy. And I'm going to try to make that particular part of the video quick. And another thing, I just want to congratulate Scab from Fireboy at Cutlery and Outdoors. He just hit 5,000. Woohoo! Way to go, brother. Great guy. Comments on a lot of my videos on my humble channel. I wish I could meet him in person because I think we'd get along. So congrats on that. If there is anybody that has subscribed to my microscopic little channel and has not subscribed to Donnie B All Day, and I doubt that there is, but if you haven't, go over and subscribe to Donnie B All Day. I'll put a link in there if I remember. He's approaching 10,000. He gave me a shout out last fall, this previous fall, and really helped my channel grow. I think I got about 200 subscribers because of him. So I'm doing what little I can to pay that forward. And with that, to the war post. War post. Okay, hopefully this is recording straight up. This is the same kind of, this is just chairs from the same type of, from the same set as the broken chair that I used in testing this before. So we're going to retest the Boker out the front Kalashnikov with the drop test. Well, tested it there, I'll just drop it. That's the drop test for you. Okay. I'm not dropping it straight. That's the problem. But the point is to test the strength at the tip, right? And the hard downwards. That's biting quite well. One more time for good measure. Okay. As I said, I will be doing a full review of this, but I just wanted to see if this new knife could live up to the challenge. Now, I had this chair picked up when I did this test that actually broke the first one. So that's the way I'm going to do this one. I'm going to pick it up so the angles are more or less the same. Okay, no breaky. Isn't that lovely? No breaky. No bendy. Okay, first we got to hang up the water bottle, and I really hope I don't get any of this on me because it's cold out here. And I am going to make sure I'm recording. That's been a problem. Okay. Let's see. Okay, good clean cut. Nice. That's not a nice pulp. Okay, so it kills hostile water bottles just fine. I'm going to do the thrusting on this first because of the tip question, just to get over my own trepidation. Okay, that worked. Okay, the wind blew the camera off frame for the good hard wax, so I'm going to do that over again, and that's where you're going to see the splice. Not trying to hide anything. Okay. And surprisingly, you don't feel much shock out of this aluminum handle either. And hopefully this is being seen all right, and no tip damage, most importantly. So we'll get downstairs and go over the results. Okay, let's try this again. My memory was full and I stopped recording in the middle of my first wrap up. Okay, first of all, I initially thought that there was a scratch on the blade, but I think it's just some goop was on there. There was no edge damage after all of that, and the tip is still sharp and intact, which is good because the other one never made it that far. Now, I didn't mention before, but it did come nicely sharp. Alright, and let's see, what do I do with that water bottle? And these are the cuts that it made and the punctures it made with a factory edge. I said of the other one, I believe, that that was one of the best factory edges I've ever had on a knife. And this one is too. Now, it was cold out there and I did not do a vampire deterrent or a feather stick, so we're going to use a pencil for that. This is after going through the water bottle and getting beat on plastic wood, out of the wood. And it's still, get to that, once you get an angle on it, it does that quite nicely. You see the curls. And it's a little difficult to get an angle on it that way there. But it's not really designed to do this, but once you get the angle, it works nicely And having done all that, let's see if it held the edge for paper. Absolutely. So, some of the guys that reviewed this tabletop reviews, I think I'm the only guy I could find, well, I know I'm the only guy I could find on the internet that actually put this to any kind of test. They complained about an excessive amount of blade wobble. But honestly, out the fronts are going to have that. That's just the way they are. But this has very little blade wobble. And you will see when I splice the stabbing test, or maybe you already watched the stabbing test, the wobbling test, or wiggle test, or whatever I decide to call it, it works fine. Now, I'm not a big fan of out the front knives. I never have been. The reason I picked this over, and I was actually putting money away to buy the Microtech, even though I'm never going to be a member of the cult of Microtech. When I was browsing knives, like the Nutty Knife guys want to do, I saw this one, and this one, the design addressed a lot of the problems I had with out the fronts, which is why I was so heartbroken when the first one failed so miserably. But this one didn't, and I'm glad. I'm not a big fan of finger holes, but on an out the front of the finger grooves, but on an out the front, it's necessary because they have very little guards. Most of the other out the fronts have smooth, non-textured aluminum handles, and they're very slim. Right? They don't fill the hand, and it just looks to me like it was one of these slide up the blades and cut yourself waiting to happen. Which is why I never really wanted to pull the trigger on an expensive, or really expensive, out the front like a Microtech or a Hogue, although there's a couple of those Hogue out the fronts that are kind of calling my name. But the finger grooves keep it from slipping in the hand. It's got a little bit of a guard. This particular finger groove flares out a little more at the end. It's got jimping here, which in the saber grip, the hammer grip, or the handshake grip kind of digs into the palm and keeps the knife in place, and gives you a nice place to it gives you nice traction for your thumb when you cap the knife in reverse grip, and it doesn't have one of those god-awful, stupid, glass breakers. Why do they insist on putting glass breakers on those things? I don't know. I mean, I can understand having a few models with glass breakers on them, but it seems like all the out the fronts have to have, or most out the fronts have to have glass breakers. And even some fixed blade duty knives have glass breakers. Yeah. Just carry a glass breaker. Also, the button is nicely designed. The ramp is designed so not only does it fit this way, and it's got some real estate you can get your thumb on, but it also makes it easy to retract. And it does do something to block your hand from coming up the handle and cutting yourself. So now that it has officially passed the war post, I tell you, I really like this knife. It looks like Cobra-Tech, which makes these for Boker, or Boker, however you pronounce it, might want to look at their quality control a little more, because the one that failed slipped by. And as I said in my earlier video about this, when I first got it and wanted to do the wriggle test on it, I'm wondering if I'm not only wondering if that heat treat on that blade was botched, I'm wondering if it was heat treated at all. I mean, it was that bad compared to this. See, I didn't have anything to compare that to before. When I bought it before, as I said, the blade was rough, but some stone wash finishes have a rough feel to the finish, to the feel. They just feel that way. They just feel rough. And I thought that was just because of the stone wash. Now I'm wondering if it was just a horribly bad heat treat or a non-existent heat treat, because this blade feels really good. I noticed the difference immediately when I got the new one out of the box. Speaking of the box, just so people know, it comes with a nice little storage case with a lot of pockets in here, which I suppose is nice, but I will never use it because this has gone on my carry rotation. It'll either be in my drawer with all my other everyday carry knives, or it's going to be in my pocket. So I don't know, and I'm not going to bother with putting it back in here every time I and take it out every time I want to carry this. Comes in a pretty substantial box that protects it very well. This is not one of those boxes that'll collapse if you look at it funny. These kind of boxes I tend to keep. Sometimes not for knives, but they're great for like storing stray Allen keys or bolts, or sometimes even my drawing pencils and stuff. They're just kind of handy. And another thing I should point out, if you watch when I'm doing the wriggle test with the chair, I actually completely dropped this knife by accident, and it hits the concrete, and it didn't even scratch the finish. So this knife, I'm not sorry I paid $120 for this particular one. Tobertech dropped the ball on quality control, and so did Boker on the original one that I sent back, but this one rocks. Okay. Just before I go, last time I checked, at 370 subscribers. So 30 subscribers from now, I'm going to be giving away a knife. I have some in mind. On my next video, I'm going to tell you which ones that I'm considering, and I'm going to ask for your input. So 400 subscribers is just around the corner. 500 is up the road. Thank you all. Thank you, Donnie B. All Day, for that big shout out. Thank you, Donovan too. He shouted me out. Choir Boy shouted me out a while back. All over Scab. A lot of people shouted me out. A lot of people helped me grow. Thank you very much, and thank everybody that watches and subscribe. Please, if you are not subscribed, please like, share, and subscribe on my videos. Excuse me just a second. Because if you like, share, and subscribe, the algorithm likes that, and that makes the algorithm like me. And I like the algorithm to like me. Well, not really. I really wish that I didn't have to bow to the almighty algorithm, but you kind of do on YouTube. And with that, I will leave you with my usual admonishment. 2. Draw your knives only in just purpose. Sheathe them only with honor. And to remember, without knives, life would be dull and pointless. And with that, I bid you goodbye.